Brandon, welcome.
How's it going?
Going well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to thank you just right up front before we get started for joining today and agreeing to share both your time and your inspiring story.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
So why don't we kick it off? Share a little bit about yourself if you don't mind.
Sure. Brandon Throop. I'm 37, married, 2 kids. Freddie is 5, Miles is a year and a half. Been active sort of all my life, running marathons, Ironmans, that sort of thing. For work, I run an investor relations program for a gold company, and that's sort of the Coles Notes.
Excellent. So let's get right into it. You've lived, as you mentioned, a very active and healthy lifestyle. And then last August, you got some really terrible news that changed your life.
Yeah, about 2 months after the birth of our second child, Miles, found a bump on my neck. No other symptoms, side effects, no crazy pain, just something that I thought was pretty harmless. Might as well just bring it up to my doctor. And it went pretty quickly into some testing, and blood tests led to ultrasounds. Ultrasounds led to CTs, biopsies, and eventually I got a diagnosed end of September with stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
And so what was the treatment that was prescribed for you?
Yeah, it was so I had an interesting story where I was prescribed chemotherapy. I did 1 round of treatment before they realized it was a bit more aggressive than they had initially thought. So the program eventually consisted of, it involved me getting a PICC line put in. I had to have some spinal taps with chemo injected into my spine for my central nervous system. And then it was this continuous program, 5 days, 24 hours a day of chemotherapy and immunotherapy every 21 days for 6 rounds. So it was mid October to early February.
Wow. And I understand you're now in full remission.
Yeah. No, I was very fortunate to receive sort of the all clear in early March there, and just try to get back to rebuilding and do the standard checks every 3 months to make sure I'm still in a good spot. But I've just had my 9-month checkup 2 weeks ago and still looks good. So moving forward.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So it goes without saying that your healthy and active lifestyle obviously played a great deal into how well you tolerated the initial treatment. What does your post-treatment lifestyle look like?
A lot of what it looked like before, which is trying to get back to being active with my friends and my family. It took a while to do that. At the end of treatment in March and April there, I couldn't do a flight of stairs without gasping for air. So I eased my way back in, slow runs, short runs, bike rides. I would say the frustrating part about it, the diagnosis that a lot of people get is it's not in your control. It just sort of cancer picked you that day. It's not something that I had done that brought this on. So, I've tried to make minor changes more to diet to kind of see if I can keep it away and keep being healthy. But post treatment, it's just been getting back and enjoying outdoors and spending time with my friends and family. I did run a marathon this past fall. And just trying to get back into that.
I know we had just actually talked about that last phone call. I think what you managed to accomplish through your fundraising was remarkable, and just quite incredible. So I won't take any of your thunder away from you. I'd love for you to say it in your own words, please.
Yeah, I would say the idea of it all started in between sort of getting the diagnosis and treatment. I had to have an abdominal biopsy done. I found myself in sort of the depths of Toronto General Hospital and sort of like this major surgery wing, you know, just still trying to understand like what am I doing here, right? I don't feel pain. Everyone's telling me that they think I have cancer, and you're just sort of spinning with it all. Um and I remember sitting there trying to figure out how to even put a hospital gown on properly. Just no idea what was going on. And I tried my best to remain forward thinking through all of this, right? This was never going to be the end. What am I going to do after? What races am I going to do? What sort of things am I going to do with my family? And I can't remember how I thought of it, but I just was wondering, I wonder if someone if there's a Guinness World Record for, fastest marathon in a hospital gown. Sure enough, there's a record for everything in the Guinness record, but it was a record, and it was something I kind of had set my sights on as my life after. I'm gonna do something cool, different, and I'm gonna tie it to a fundraiser for the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, where I received treatment for the 6 months. So it was a lofty goal, but I kicked off the campaign in March, in April, trying to just slowly rebuild. And in one day, I was raising a crazy amount of money. It kind of blew me away, the support from friends, family, work. And it kind of fueled me to keep the training up and push myself hard. It turns out a hospital gown's a terrible thing to wear in a marathon. It's a lot of drag behind it. I missed out on the record by about 4 minutes. But more importantly, I crossed that finish line. I raised $121,000 for Princess Margaret, to keep fueling their research to, beat this, end cancer in our lifetime, as their kind of mission statement. So it was, it was a great day. I just loved running in Toronto in front of everybody, and even though I don't have the record, I have no regrets about it all.
You've talked about the importance of having a strong support system throughout your journey, whether it's, facing adversities or helping you celebrate your successes. Can you share a little bit about what that looks like and what it means to you, and how having that strong support system has really helped you then and now moving forwards?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with an immediate support network. My wife was still on maternity leave, dealing with a 4-year-old and a 2-month-old, and all of a sudden, had no idea what the next few months look like in terms of my state. Right? It's amazing how precise they can be with the medicine and the science behind it, but they have they give you this handbook of potential side effects. The biology, everyone's different, how you respond or how you handle it. And so she just, without thought, took charge and let me focus on recovery and beating this thing, and kept our ship afloat, our household strong and healthy. So like that was massive for me. And then just having, friends, family, people to talk to. It's a funny thing to go through, right? Because it's not a lot of people, directly go through it. And sometimes you can feel a little bit isolated and not able to relate experiences. But I had so many people from all kind of corners of my life step up and show support, and drive me to treatment, or take me for runs. And it takes the mental load off, which I think is a massive part. Positivity and all that is a big part of getting through these things. Mindset it really does matter in my view. The support network is there make that as easy as possible.
Well said. Looking further, and any other sporting events or any other life goals in your immediate future?
I'd say continuing to run. My dad and I set out in 2017 to tackle the 6 world major marathons. We got through 5 of them before COVID and cancer sort of put a bit of a delay on that. But you know, happy that we're going to get to do number 6 in Tokyo this coming March. It's been a great journey to share with my dad, and really happy to kind of be able to tie that one off. But you know, it's funny, you go through these things, and I love what you've created here with this platform, and it come out the other side of this. I did not expect to have such an overwhelming desire to kind of pay it forward and help, you know, the foundation, the research, future patients, whatever you can kind of do to kind of just help. So I'm going to be involved with all of the bike rides and runs and charitable things I can for this, and just trying to I think just be present, right? Be visible, be present. Mm-hmm. It's not a journey you wish anyone to go through, but you can come out the other side. You can get through it. You can still maintain the fun in your life.
Absolutely. Speaking of, what would you say to somebody facing not just a new cancer diagnosis, but really any challenge or difficulty? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I everyone responds differently to you know, challenges and adversity, and I think, you know, my takeaway on my own experience is you don't have to go it alone, right? There's people want to help, friends, family. It's in them that they want to help and see everyone achieve, you know, past whatever challenge they're working through, and it's okay to lean on them and ask for help. I think that was my biggest takeaway here, and yeah, and that's it. You know, no one has to go through any of these things alone.
What would you hope people watching would take away from your story?
Honestly, I don't know. I find it. I just, you know, being forward looking, being positive, mindset matters, and you know, just rising to every challenge. It's breaking things down one day at a time. I think my marathon or running background helped that with this training, or with this treatment, right? It's a marathon is a big thing. An Ironman is a huge thing, right? But you don't go from, you know, 0 to 100. You gotta, you know, today this is the goal, and this is how I'm going to get better, and every day I'm going to be better than the version I was yesterday, and you keep pushing forward with that, and next thing you know, you're an Ironman, you're whatever your goal is, right? You're passing exams, you're, you know, hopefully cancer free, whatever that challenge might be.
Well said. Well said. Well, Brandon, I just want to thank you again for sharing your story. And I want to wish you continued good health. And just, as you said, paying it forwards is really the best way. And thank you for paying it forwards today.
No, thank you. This is a great platform, and I appreciate what you're doing. And yeah, I thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, all the best.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.